Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
Well, it's been way too long of a time since we were on the show. Only some of you are going to get the reference of our title. I don't even think Always Positive Jay across the table from you and Peter Tillip, our producer extraordinaire, even knows what the title is. There's a funny story about that. We may or may not tell that. There's a lot to get to here tonight as Bob and Millersburg, our big voice guy for the Voice of the Land, told you. We're VTL. We're on the Big Play Network and partner with LPV Productions. We thank our friends at Vector Technical who get the right person in the right job the first time. Tonight, we will go into the Gardos. We will go into the Cavs because there is a coaching search going on. We haven't talked since the season ended about the Cavs. We'll touch on them. Will I get into a basketball rant and ridiculously go at fans that I know like they don't really deserve any of my time? I don't know. And we'll talk some vacation. But we do start with the team that is in first place in the AL Central. Last night had 3 of the top 20 hitters in baseball after all games were finished. Actually had 4 of the top 20. The top 3 with Josh Naylor, Jose Ramirez, David Fry, who every time I say that name, Jana's like, who? I think David Fry.
I liked him last year, to be honest. But he just was sparingly like our utility guy. He just needs to be in the outfield every day.
Boy, oh boy, he is.
You cannot take him out the lineup. That boy is on fire.
He's having a very hot month of May, batting over, I think, the last 13 games. I want to say it is over 400, like 5 home runs. Like this dude is what you needed from the right side of the plate. Now, is he going to continue that? I don't know. Like, here's what I want to get into before we do all the nice stuff and everything. Why is it like this team is winning a lot of games? There are 19 games over 500. They lose, and yes, should you lose to the Colorado Rockies? Probably not. But like, they're all professional baseball players. You're playing in Denver, Colorado at altitude. Cleveland somehow, some way, never has a good time in Colorado or in Denver, Colorado. I don't know why. It just is what it is. That's not an excuse. But why does everybody freak out like we've lost 20 in a row when they lose 1?
I think
whether it's a good team or a bad team, Peter, everybody freaks out.
No, I know. I think people just were really getting into the streak, though. 9-game winning streak. People were really riding that, and I think that was just kind of a disappointment to go in there, and we should have won that game. If it weren't for that error,
yeah.
That opened the door for them to basically take the lead and never look back. So
I don't know. I could have wore the shirt that they have the 22 game winning streak. That was fun. That was awesome. My friend got free windows. Like, it was awesome.
Oh, my wife's aunt did too. Yeah.
I didn't get
free windows.
I didn't get a World Series. Like, this team's built like they're saying every day is they play it like it's a playoff game. So when the playoffs come, they're ready to go, and it's just like every other day, and they're going to continue to do and try as hard as they can. And when I heard it today, talking Tom Hamilton talking, your coach has barely got to do anything. When you got a guy at like Jose who's also red hot and on fire, and he is leader, and he tries hard on every single play, every person's going to follow suit. And this team, that's why we've said it a million times, that deal he gave Cleveland is unreal. Like, he didn't have to do that, and it changed everything about this team and what we can do. He is our David Robinson, our Tim Duncan, the guy that Greg Popovich, I'm saying, like, everyone follows suit because Pop could yell at them and they would try harder than everybody else. And God bless Jose Ramirez, man. I continue to say it, when he's done with his career, he will finish the greatest Cleveland baseball position player they've ever had.
And as I look at the standings, they have the second best record in all the major leagues, the best record in the American League. As I look at the best teams, AL Central being led by our Guardians, the Yankees lead the East, so they're trailing us by a half game. If that was tied,
and what's their payroll?
It's 9 digits. Is that right? Yeah, because you have like 6 zeros for million and then like 900 or whatever it is, $400 million worth of payroll. Like,
Mhm.
look, that's why the Cleveland organization, the Guardians organization is so good. And that's why it pains us when the ownership doesn't spend, because we have the right people in place to. It's not like we're looking for exorbitant contracts. We know we're not going to necessarily go way over the $100 million payroll level. We understand that. We understand where we play baseball, where we're fans of baseball.
What we have to do is sign them to those long, like those 5, 6 year, 7 year deals
Yes.
when they're young, and they're still going to make $100 million. But it's a deal in the baseball world once
Right.
they really start to establish themselves. And sadly, once they're done with those, that's when they go and they're in their prime. But
Well, the
is what it is.
Yankees payroll for this year, 306 million,
oh, that's it.
which is 3 times.
More than ours.
More
it's
than
more.
ours.
It's a little
Yes.
bit more,
More
than
than-
three.
Yeah,
right.
I think we're like
And
around that 90
I think-
million.
I think
it's like
plateau.
98.
Jacob was telling me the other day, I think that we're like 28th
Yeah.
in payroll, and the number 1 team is the Mets.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And look what they're
Yeah,
getting out of
yeah.
that. I
Look what
mean,
we did to them.
who won the
Mhm.
Francisco Lindor trade?
Oh, we
like-
did. It's Gimenez has been the much better player overall.
But I mean, just real quick, I will say, like, it's not that I feel for Francisco, but like, I know he's a talented player. That was like, he was the type of person that fit Cleveland, not the New York media.
Mhm.
Like, I understood, like, he was going to go get the money. That's what he wanted. He wasn't doing the same deal that Jose
I
was.
mean,
And I
if
don't even
I'm
know.
him, I'm gonna go get.
Right. You're going to go get that kind of security. Like, you can't fault them. You take advantage of the business, the market that's available to you. And that's what he did. I just don't think that I don't want to say play style, but like just his demeanor, being real nice, real cordial, very respectful. Like, that's what,
It's the Mets.
right. It's
They don't have the culture we have here.
no, like he fit what
he-
we had here. But again, he went for the money and that was him. The reason why we get frustrated when the Dolans don't necessarily spend to take advantage of a window like this year, it's looking like we have a window. We're now 2 months into the season. That's where everybody says you start to tell whether the team is legit or not. I would say that this team is legit. Are there going to be struggles? Yes, because there's still June, July, August, September. Maybe,
And-
some certain
And
seasons
honestly,
you go into October.
we have a sore spot in this team, and it's the starting pitching right now.
Due to injuries and
Guys coming back from injuries, like
Guys coming
Tristan's
back, like-
still getting into his groove. We lose Bieber for the whole year.
Tristan doesn't have the ability to fully go through the process of coming back from an injury because he's now moved to the number 1 spot and there's a lot more expectations on him. Now, I'm sure he has even more expectations on himself. That's the type of players that the Guardians organization has, but he has more expectations on him to try to kickstart things. And, it's not consistent just yet.
And Bibby's having a good year, a little down from his rookie year, but that's because guys got a book on him more, obviously know what he's going to do a little better, and he's going to adjust. He's a young player. Don't just give him time. He'll be fine. And thank God. Wow, did they get a deal? And is it Ben Lively?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did that guy even come from?
I mean,
And he has been
I know he's
money.
pitched overseas and like he's trying to resurrect his career. And again, this is kind of a perfect scenario for someone like that where, there's not a lot expected of you, but you're taking advantage of an opportunity because you feel like, man, this is my last chance to really do something in the majors. So like to feel that, yeah, I made it to the majors, but did I do something in the majors? And that's kind of what he's doing. And he's having confidence, and confidence and momentum go hand in hand. And that every 5th day he's coming up and he's being pretty consistent. Our team's getting a book on him and making adjustments. Sure. Is he going to look perfect all the time? No, but this team is finding different ways to win. And really their offense is much better than we all expected.
no
it
one
to
saw
be.
this coming.
No,
I don't think we all thought that we were going to, what do we all say? We're going to rely on pitching, hope we got good defense and play
Yeah.
small ball. And we're out here jacking home runs. And what really gets me excited, the one stat I love about baseball is run differential.
Mhm.
I always look at the records, and then the next thing I look at is the run differential. And most of the time, that's going to tell you who's the pretenders and contenders of the good teams.
Yep.
And they are way up there, Kevin.
Plus 77
Yeah.
in run differential this season so far. And we're not quite out of May just yet. We haven't turned the corner to June just yet. And yes, they're hitting home runs, but they're also hitting double. Like I feel like, and this isn't to prop us up like of being right or making like any predictions, but it's what we're seeing is what we have asked for. And when I say we, it's not just us two, even though we've had a lot of these conversations, Jay. It is we as like the general Guardians fan base that knows baseball, like the diehard baseball fans that know the game, that know what's expected of this team, what they're capable of. We've always asked for players and to lengthen the lineup where you had power, and power does not always mean home runs. The home runs are coming, but power means when you hit a double, you
Hitting
make
it off the wall.
Yes, you make the pitcher feel it. You hear it go off the wall. Like there is no chance for a guy to catch it because it is a screamer off the bat, bangs off the wall, maybe takes the right kind of bounce and you get a triple when it could be a double. Like that type of power. And that is what we've seen. And it's translating to home runs as well. The Rockies, they have a very home run friendly ballpark. That's not saying that what Josh Naylor did last night is any less spectacular. Like that is who Josh Naylor is. This is who Jose Ramirez is. The home runs are coming because Stephen Vogt and the staff has found a way to take what Tito did, make just subtle little adjustments in how aggressive they are, when they attack, when they don't, in certain counts, in the hot spots of the zone, all those different analytics that have always fed into baseball and have fed into baseball for a long time. They've just adjusted the mindset at the plate, and these guys have taken advantage of it. And then when you see one go over the fence and you see like these things are working, guess what? If it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Now you've made some corrections from the past. Things are working. Just continue to go with it. And you don't know necessarily who it's going to be. Yes, David Fry has been a surprise. Yes, Josh Naylor has been there. Jose Ramirez is always going to be consistent. But you're getting certain games out of Tyler Freeman and Brian Rocchio.
And man, has he stepped into that leadoff position so well.
Yes, because they care.
Well, Kevin,
they care about Stephen Kwan and Stephen Kwan being out.
I was going to say, mentioning things that were broken that are now fixed that needed fixed. Stephen Kwan, and how excited are you to have him back?
I mean, I'm really excited to have him back, but I think it tells you about this team that Tyler Freeman, was he ever expecting to be in a leadoff role with the major league team? Not this season. And because they love each other so much and have that kind of connection, Tyler Freeman says he's playing for Stephen Kwan. Well, I want to see Tyler Freeman play for Tyler Freeman too, because Tyler Freeman is pretty talented. I saw someone that wanted Tyler Freeman out of center field. Like he had like a really good game. He was getting props. And, one of those Twitter bots has to go in and say like, oh, like this is just a fluke. He shouldn't even be in center field. Do you see the plays that he's making? I think, there was a catch a few games ago where he leapt, but like he could have kept running and just got underneath it, but he felt like he needed to leave his feet. Okay. He's still learning the position, but he's making plays like that and diving all over the field, making spectacular defensive plays. Who cares if he just chose to leap instead of run underneath it because it was still an easy catch? Who cares? Guess what? It's an out. He's doing his job. You don't talk a lot about Tyler Freeman. Are all the batting averages great? No.
Batting averages, I have to just adjust myself because it's a different game.
It's
a
so
200 batting average is so common now. It really is. Like we've talked about this, I don't know how many times. Like I love high batting averages, always have. That's why Stephen Kwan is one of my favorite players, but that's just an oddity these days. So I don't really worry about it. I work about you're scoring runs. When people are on base, you're hitting base, you're getting base hits. That's all I care about, Kevin.
That's what they need to do. And again, they have one more game tonight in Colorado before they come home. 8:40 first pitch. So we'll be
Is that really the big difference from this year to last year? Because how many times last year I feel like we had 2 guys on, 3 guys on, and then get 2 outs. And every time we get people on, if Jose wasn't coming up, we were not getting these guys around. And this year we are. That is the big difference.
So you kind of allude to a point I want to get to on the other side. We do want to hear from our friends at Vector Technical, but on the other side, we'll talk about kind of, yes, we're in a great stretch. The whole notion of baseball is a roller coaster. We're going to make sure we set fans straight to continue to follow and show support to this team for giving so much to us already this season. We need to continue to give back to them and fill out the ballpark. We'll tell you why on the other side. This is the Voice of the Land here on the Big Play and, of course, the audio on the Be On Air Podcast Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice Land here on the Big Play Network. And of course, you can always, as we said, going to break, you can get the audio replay on all of your favorite podcast platforms. But we want to thank our friends over the Ohio Media School. The Be On Air Network is not just Ohio Media School. Of course, they have their Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati campuses, but there's Illinois Media School, Miami Media School. They have different campuses throughout the country. So the entire Be On Air network, they have graciously taken our audio and put it out to their network as well. So we are on more platforms. More people can try to tune into what we try to bring to this. This isn't a show where you're going to get, and it's always good to reset things, especially when we haven't had a show in a while. But it's not a show that you're going to get like hot takes and people yelling at each other and things like that. If there is ever an argument on the show, it is going to be genuine. It's going to come out of how we feel. But there's always the understanding. And at the end of the day, the respect of, look, Jay, you might disagree with me. I don't need to convince you at the end of the day of how I feel. I might still feel that same way after we talk back and forth.
Oh, we disagree. I mean, you
Yes.
think Disney's the greatest place in the world, and I think you're absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
But, I mean,
we
it is what it is.
We respect, acknowledge, and understand that that other person has a different side. We understand where it's coming from. We just can't see it the same way. Guess what? That's the beauty of being a human, of being people. Like you don't have to agree on everything. Like not everything has to be a certain way. And so we're not a show that's going to tell you like, this is how it has to be. And like, if you're with us, you're with us. If you're not, you're not. Like, trust me, you can be on whatever side that you want. We will talk back with you on social media. Always leave us a question if you're watching the live feed, or, tweet at Always Positive J, at Kevin7, at VTL_pod. Tweet us questions and we'll answer them throughout over the course of the shows when we go live Wednesdays at 8. But we did go to break talking about the Guardians and their hot start, 37-18 over the last 10 games. Of course, 9-1. They had a 9-game winning streak, lost the first game in Colorado, won last night 13-7. The rubber match tonight in Colorado before they do come home coming into the month of June. It's all well and good right now, Jay. Like everybody's into it. It's something, while the Browns might be in OTAs and everybody always wants to talk football and finds a way to talk football, when your baseball team isn't playing meaningful games and they're not playing very well, like especially here in Cleveland, what conversation do we usually go back to?
The Browns.
We don't have to do that right now because everybody, whether you are someone that watches,
This
listens.
is what I encourage people to, like, straight up. During the offseason, the Browns, if you really want to listen to the Browns, we're probably not your podcast. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to lie. We don't if news happens, we're going to talk about it. Of course, we don't ignore them, but we're not going to beat you over the head with Brown stuff. there's so many places that they'll talk Browns year round, and
Yep.
that's fine. That's what they want to do. They love the Browns. I love the Browns. Kevin loves the Browns, but we just feel like, honestly, we're not paying full homage to the other teams in this area that deserve it, like especially the Guardians, who've year after year have been a great team and just keep proving that they're a winning organization, and they don't get the talk that all the other major shows around here don't. They just kind of give
Right.
it. Not that all of them don't. I'm not trying to single anyone out, but a lot of times they just kind of get put to the back burner because everyone wants to talk Browns, and they are going to have the largest crowd by talking Browns. We're talking to everybody that wants to talk about the Guardians. That's who we're reaching out to right now. If you're in the mood for the Guardians and that's what you want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. We're going to close the season on the Cavs because that's what the Cavs did, and we're going to close on the season on them. And we're not going to talk and beat about the Cavs until maybe the draft or something comes up or a trade. We're not. That's just how we are, Kevin.
I mean, it's the only reason we're doing it here tonight. And on the other, like, we'll do that in our next segment at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk a little Cavs. It's because we haven't been together and we haven't had a chance to talk about it. I'm sure there's maybe some thoughts.
Also, I'm finally on YouTube. You can chat. I can finally see it. I finally figured out how to do that. So, guys, send us stuff all the time.
Look at the Twitter version though. Like, that doesn't look the same. So I don't know if the chat still comes up. Someone someone go in the live chat on Twitter and like, I just need to see how it goes because it's a different setup now on Twitter when
that owner, he's kind of weird.
Yeah, we're not.
He's kind of weird.
All right,
but let's get talking about our guard.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about Quan coming back, dude.
Yes.
But
I think we need to I'm not saying temper things because like get all excited. Austin Hedges I think that has been one of the biggest additions or re-adds to this organization, to this clubhouse.
I want to have Andre not on so bad to talk about Austin or Chris Rose. That's who I reached out to because he was talking about him and what he is bringing to this as a leader and how to, when guys are down, how to help them get out of it and get rolling. Austin Hedges is a godsend to this team.
Getting yelled at in text right now.
You should be. You deserve it.
So Jana, my wife, is she like texted me a comment to what we were talking about in the first segment about power.
And you didn't read it?
I didn't see it because I don't like.
You weren't paying attention to your wife?
No,
you're getting yelled at by me.
Okay.
I got you, Jana. I got you.
Well, she said that she would take a team of doubles hitters over like having a couple home run hitters any day of the week.
Well, my dad says all day doubles and triples kill teams because it makes pitchers worry because there's always someone on. When the bases are empty, it's different. You can what is that called? So throwing from the set, pitching from
the stretch.
Yeah, pitching from the
stretch versus
I was drawing a blank there.
Yeah.
It's
full windup versus the stretch, yes.
And she appreciates me. See, I read this stuff.
Okay,
I see
great.
it. Yeah.
But I mean, like that is a really good point, though, and what you're saying as well. Like it,
she knows ball, man. Like she's repeating my dad, she knows ball for real. Like,
trust me, there's a reason I married her.
I know. I went to your wedding. I know what it was about.
But it keeps the train rolling. Like doubles, triples. The pitcher is out there longer. Like you could have the first two guys get on, next guy comes up, hits a 3-run bomb. Like that's big, but then the next three guys get out. And now it's only 3-0. So like it's still, that game is still there. And like a pitcher could settle in, and that might be all you get until you get into the bullpen. But you get doubles going, you get then singles, some like triples mixed in. Like
it's when they're on there and you get a double and you get another one and that other guy scores.
Yes.
And then you get another one.
Yes.
Instead of just getting a double and then getting an out and then get someone on sec or first and then roll and hitting into a double
play. That guy's got to throw more pitches and he's like, I don't know what else I can throw because these guys are hitting double. Like that's what we're talking about when we have power. And I think we have that kind of team. It's just nice that, yes, we're not talking about this team being at the bottom of home runs as a team. I think that they had at one point they had 49 home runs, and the year before, like the whole total year last year was less than that, or some crazy stat.
Were you get ready to allude to the Cav or the if we have the Guardians having a down like spot that like fans getting
They just jump off right away. Like,
They're going to do that anyways.
I
So
know.
it don't matter. Honestly, I don't see this team doing that at all this year. I don't see a 6-7 game losing streak ever happening. You are in so much trouble.
Me knowing baseball better not be why you married me. No, it's only one of the reasons. We'll talk about that at home.
When's the last time you slept on the couch? Because it might be tonight.
I mean, very recently, because I came back from vacation very burnt and my ankles were so swollen. I had to like lay on the couch and elevate them. Like it was like the best place to elevate them.
Kevin.
What?
I wasn't talking like voluntarily. I was talking voluntarily.
I understand.
I'm talking. You were kicked to the couch.
I know, and I was avoiding that conversation.
Yeah,
but I'm not avoiding the Guardians.
I'm not avoiding it.
There will be some people that will avoid the Guardians if they goes through those.
They're gonna do it. There's Fringe fans. It's what happens. It's the way it is, Kevin.
Just, like, from what we've seen these first 2 months, like this is a team, especially at home.
And guess what? When
they feed off that energy.
Oh yeah.
And like the momentum that they build from that, they've been playing well on the road because look, the confidence is there. So it's like, oh, and you go to Colorado.
Has the attendance been up a lot more this year?
I don't.
With like the renovations and like the deals where you get the monthly pass.
I don't know where the numbers are.
I don't know them either.
Yeah.
So that's why
I
thought you might.
We'd have to reach out to our friend Curtis Danberg, who we did the Greeny Sports Cards event with in Independence just a few weeks back. Speaking of Greeny Sports Cards, our friends over at the Crunch Championship Celebration in Medina coming up Friday, 7 to 10. It'll start at 7. Yes, there's another trade show and collector show, card show, that type of thing with Greenies being a part of it. The Crunch will be there 7 to 10. The show is open on Friday, 11 to 6, but then a special collector show for a championship celebration. Yes, you have a professional team that won a championship this year, Cleveland. The Cleveland Crunch. Go celebrate with them down in Medina. I need to get the official.
And if your kids love soccer, these guys are so interactive with kids. They're great with kids. Like, I guarantee you, they'd love it. They'll sign them autographs, do whatever. You know, they're good people, man.
Yeah, let me get the exact location for everybody while we are talking about this. The Collectors Fair, Medina County Collectors Fair at the Medina County Fairgrounds Community Center, 735. If I'm reading that right, they have the fun, like the handwriting or the type is like comic book style, which is really cool. 735 Lafayette Road in Medina, coming up on Friday, the Cleveland Crunch and the championship celebration. Look, will we be celebrating championships with the Guardians this year? I don't know.
They got a good look at it, man. But they really do.
Paulus, one of the original hosts of this, always got annoyed when I did this, but I am someone that as a fan, I take on whatever identity I can actually tell my team has, especially when they're playing well. Whatever the coach, the manager is saying, how the players act, they are literally taking it one day at a time. They play each game as a playoff game. And when they win, boy, oh boy, there's a great celebration in the locker room. Like people like Andre, not to get to go in there, and other reporters, like they're not allowed to say everything that goes on in there, only because the Guardians are keeping it in-house. That's something that comes out at the end of the year when all the national media cameras get in. There's not a good way to hide it. But they have celebrations after each game because it's hard to win in professional sports. As many games as they get to play, 162, you have to enjoy each one on its own. And that still goes back to Terry Francona, who said, doesn't matter what happened last night now, your job tonight or this afternoon, whatever time the game is to go win a baseball game. That's today. Not focused on if we can win the series or not tomorrow, not worried about losing 11-3 last night. Today, you go win the baseball game. And that is what Stephen Vogt has continued and has just added to it. And it's been so much fun. Like, we could probably spend the entire show talking about how fun it is. Just remember, I know it's going to happen. I know I shouldn't worry about you, but I love this city. I love this team. Even in some of those roller coaster moments of over 162 games, enjoy what we are seeing, because Jay and I and a lot of other people have seen we're going to see a lot more of that this year. Even through the tough times, this team will come through it, and they'll be better for it with the mindset and the type of camaraderie that they have. A team that's looking for that sort of identity or re-identifying that identity, that is your Cleveland Cavaliers. They are in the search of a new head coach. We will talk a little Cavaliers and basketball fans overall on the other side. You want some Voice of the Land gear? Well, we got just the place for you. Stay tuned in this commercial break, because that information is coming at you right now. This is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play and Be On Air podcast networks.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
So while we enjoy the ride the Guardians are taking us on in the 2024 season, and we are now starting to truly see their identity this season, there's a team in town that's still looking for their identity, or might be trying to reinvent their identity, trying to keep players, trying to convince them to stick around, sign extensions. Others that, if extensions are signed, they might ask out, or you might need to trade some away, all these different conversations. Jay, you and I have not had a chance to talk Cavaliers basketball since they were ousted in 5 games by the Boston Celtics, who are now in the finals. They swept the Indiana Pacers. I think
I've seen one of the easiest rides to the finals I've ever seen.
I think the Cavs would have given the Celtics more headway, because it seemed like, as much as we were frustrated, we went to 7 games with the Orlando Magic. I feel like that series would have went a little differently with Jared Allen. Jared Allen took a lot of heat last year, or the previous season, because he was the one to admit the lights were too bright for us. Well, we were hoping he would learn from it, and he was one of the players that did and was playing very well throughout the season and in that series. And then the rib injury happened. Don't know if it was actually just bruised ribs or not. I feel like that series might have been maybe only 6 games instead of 7, as everyone predicted it to be with Jared Allen. Who knows? Shoulda, woulda, coulda type things. You can't change what the past is. But he was out during the Boston series. It seemed like in both series, the Cavs got stronger as the series was going on. Well, you lose Donovan Mitchell after game 3. You didn't have Karis LeVert in game number 5. He was in and out of the lineup, not always consistent. I feel like at full strength, I think the Celtics and the Cavs matched up very well, and I think that series would have gone deeper. Do I think the Cavs would have won?
I mean, the Cavs, the Celtics, and the refs, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Just let me point that out, because that was the worst officiating I've ever seen
there
in my
is
entire life.
There's
then when we complained about it, the next game they just called a whole bunch of fouls in the first quarter and then didn't call them anymore. I wonder why.
There
It
might
didn't
be
matter.
there might be some NBA officials that need the Angel
Hernandez
treatment.
Re-
Where go in a room.
retirement.
Yes. That
Air quotes. For
that is
those
a
who aren't watching.
terrible umpire, and
The worst ever, and cost us World Series.
Yes. Now,
move
like,
on.
I don't want to attack him like attack the person. Like, now he doesn't have a job. I know he probably loves the game of baseball, but the game of baseball and Angel Hernandez, I think both are better off not being anywhere near each other.
I'll just bite my tongue, because I'm not allowed to talk angrily today, because I'm going to lose it. I'm like, you're talking about Angel Hernandez now? Like,
there's stuff behind the curtain that we won't get into. So, Cavs losing 5, and it didn't happen right away, but JB Bickerstaff was let go by the team. Was that the right move in your eyes, Jay?
I think so. Honestly, I don't. Not that he wasn't a bad coach. I just think they learned what they were going to learn from him, and they need a new voice, someone more offensively minded person, someone that's going to unlock this team that's just it's the roster. I don't know what they're gonna do because that's the thing. Like, how is Garland staying? Is Allen staying?
Yeah.
Like, are we changing how we're gonna construct this team because it wasn't working? Is that JB Bickerstaff's fault? Was that the players' fault? I really don't know. I just know the NBA. You don't win a championship after about 4 or 3 years, you're probably most likely going to get fired.
We talked about it throughout the season, and especially when Garland was out, Mobley was out, we started looking at like when they come back, is this hot stretch going to continue of basketball? How can we do that? Is there this staggering of the lineup that you can do? We hadn't put an official moniker on it, numbers on it. ESPN's Brian Windhorst did, saying that the Cavs played best with 1 point guard, 1 center, 3 shooters. 1-3-1, 3-1, however you want to configure those numbers. 3 shooters, a point guard, and a center. That's when the Cavs played at their best. The ball movement was there. We saw it towards the end of the Boston series when it was just, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, and they had 3 shooters out there. Somehow, some way, they need to figure out a way to construct this, revamp this roster. I don't know how many assets they have. I'm not going to be the first person.
I think Darius Garland's gone straight up. I love Garland. It's not like I'm making a trade, obviously.
Right.
I just think I was listening to Brian Windhorst today. He's going to be looking for a new contract. He's not going to want to stay with Donovan Mitchell because he wants that next big deal eventually.
Yeah. Once
and
you
if
get
he's
one,
with Mitchell, his numbers are going to be down and he's not going to get the supermax. Or if he's a point guard, let's say in San Antonio, where they don't have one, and they gave us the 8 pick for Darius Garland, now we're talking. Now we have an asset to either draft someone or trade the 8th pick to go get someone that's established, a position like the small forward or power forward that can shoot the 3.
yeah,
which is what we need.
And that's being realistic. Like again, Donovan and Darius,
and who knows? We might end up trading Donovan Mitchell. He doesn't sign, and we keep Darius.
Right. There's so many things. The first domino, I don't even think it's
Mitchell does.
I don't even think it's the coach. Now, I'm sure the Cavs are looking for a coach that is going to entice Mitchell to stay. Like everything is centering around Donovan Mitchell. Right.
My vote's for Coach Kevin.
Coach Kevin.
Coach Kev, you.
Oh, me.
Coach Kev.
no, I'm staying out of this one. I'm staying out of this one. Now, like the names that have been mentioned, Kenny Atkinson, Jorge Borrego.
Do any of you guys care who the coach is? Do you?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Like, everyone's like, oh, what is that? I'm like, do you really care? Like,
but, like, I feel like
we're not getting, like,
that answer will change once the season kind of gets going if Donovan Mitchell, like, based on what Donovan Mitchell does.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first real story that is going to drop. Did I want to see JB Bickerstaff gone? Not necessarily, but I understood that decision was coming, or that was pretty much what was going to happen. Like if they got rid of him, I understood it. If they kept him around, I would understand it. I wasn't rooting one way or the other. There are some people that are really happy, some people that are really upset by it. That's getting back into the whole Baker bro versus Baker hater type thing. Like there is always the real story right down the middle. And JB, it was probably time for a new voice, just like when Golden State got rid of Mark Jackson, they brought in Steve Kerr. Not saying the same thing's going to happen here in Cleveland, that all of a sudden we're going to be now a championship team because we got the next Steve Kerr and got rid of the new version of Mark Jackson. I'm not saying that, but that's the microcosm of it. Sometimes a voice runs its course. Hopefully the voice of the land never runs its course, but every now and then a voice runs its course in professional sports and you have to move on. All of I don't want to see Darius go, but again, I understand for him to shine, it might just be they don't hate each other. I don't think that Donovan and Darius hate each other.
Did you watch the playoffs, how he embraced him and stuff? They're awesome. They truly like each other. Sometimes it just doesn't work as a team. Like a basketball player, you're the same player, and not you need different players.
And like to me, it's like that. That science experiment you would do with magnets where like you couldn't get them to stick together because the poles, they were fighting against each other. They're trying to do the same thing at the same time and they can't come together. It's basically that, like two guys that are very talented, do a lot of the same things. They can't bring out the best in each other because they're both trying to do the same thing at the same time. And it just became more evident. This isn't like, I'm not trying to trash Colin Sexton or Darius or anything. Like, it's just the Cavs have found backcourts where the two guys don't play off of each other. They play against each other without actually trying to play against each other. And it's somehow, some way, you got to get to the 1-3-1, that configuration, because you have Max Strus signed and Georges Niang signed for, a couple more seasons. Georges Niang needs to step it up. I'm sure they got to try to find other
They need to
shooters.
ship him out.
George?
I'm sorry, dude. I cannot watch that dude play basketball anymore. He drives me nuts.
And sometimes, you
He annoys me like he annoys the other team. Like,
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand Jordan. Like, yeah, he's a great dude. I've seen what he did at our friend's studio, the Big Play studio, and going down there as the Amazon. He's a good dude. I'm sorry. No more Georges Niang on the Cavs, please.
I think
need
this is
less
even,
of him.
for me, I think it's even worse, like more of an indictment on him. I nothing Georges Niang. Like, I don't have, I have no reaction either way. Like, if they're polarizing, like they're doing something right, they're either going to get a positive or a negative reaction. It's the old WWE mantra, professional wrestling. Like, in order to stick in professional wrestling, you better get some sort of reaction. That means you're doing something right in that profession to get a reaction. I nothing Georges Niang.
Like, if you ain't 7'2" in a center, I need you to be fast and athletic, and he ain't that when it comes to basketball. I'm sorry. That dude is like a micro center that could shoot threes here and there. He'll get hot, and then the next 4 games he won't make a single one and go 0 for 4. Like, I'm sorry. When your nickname is the minivan, that's not good for basketball, dude.
No.
Like, you don't want to be the minivan at basketball. Football, sure. Basketball, not so much.
Yeah. Well, and he's at the point of his career where it's like, we're getting into like the 2003 minivan. He's kind of, you kind of need that 2023 model to.
He doesn't even have all-wheel drive on his minivan.
No, but he will be here.
He's a rear-wheel drive minivan.
He will be here next year. Now, I know everybody was up in arms with Kobe Altman and what he said in his press conference after they did get rid of JB Bickerstaff. Like, they don't.
Oh, or they're saying this guy's going to fit that. Guess what? That's GM talk.
Yes.
He's going to say what he has to say.
Stop.
Because if you start saying bad things about players, like, yeah, we got to get rid of this guy and rid of this guy.
Nobody wants him.
No, they just they want him, but they're like, oh, since you don't want him and you clearly don't want him, we're not going to offer you much for him.
Yeah, you're going to be asking us for certain things.
You're dropping the price of your players.
You're not going to get it. Look, they said that Baker was their guy. The Browns said Baker was their guy. What happened? What was going on behind the scenes?
GMs lie.
GMs lie. Even the smart ones that go to the Ivy League schools, guys. Yes. Whoa. Sometimes they give you little nuggets, but they're not. He wasn't trying to give away anything. Now, is it a bad look if, like, you completely revamped the roster and you said that the roster didn't need any major changes? Yes, it's still a bad look, but again, it's because you don't get hooked by what they say. Get hooked by what they do. Now, if what they do matches what they said, go at it. Complain, whatever. But until we see what they're actually going to do versus what they said, you can't. I can't really react. Like, I'm not happy with Kobe Altman, but I'm also not upset with him. I don't nothing him like I do with Georges Niang, but it's like,
Kevin, you know how I feel about GMs and coach interviews. I just don't care anymore.
No,
because they don't tell you anything. They say nothing with saying a bunch of words.
Don't talk about it, be about it. We say at the end of the show all the time. There's a reason we say that. There's a reason Jay says that. It's because the talking isn't enough. They're always going to find a way, and Cleveland finds the best people to tell you what you want to hear and say a lot without saying anything. Cleveland is known for that. That's not just the Browns. That's the Cavs. That's the Guardians. Chris Antonetti doesn't say anything. He says a lot of words. He doesn't say anything. Doesn't give anything away. Kobe Altman, same thing. Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, same thing.
And it's a good thing. They don't want As much as we
much
want
as-
to know, you don't want them giving away our stuff.
Right. Like I know that everybody wants information. They want it now. They want all of it. When Deshaun Watson throws tomorrow, everybody's gonna want like how far did he throw? Oh my gosh, like what spot is development is he in, or like recovery is he in? Just
Who cares what he does at there? Like, I just want to see what he does in game 1 and how
Patience
he throws, and
is
see
a
how he does in
virtue.
game 2 and how he throws. And then I'm going to evaluate him around game 3 and see how he does. I don't care if that dude could come out and throw for 35 yards in the first preseason game or throw for 250 yards in the first preseason game. I really just don't care. Like, it don't mean that's why we don't talk about it.
no. Like
All right.
we can live all that stuff. Like we can break it all down, and we've been there. Like Jay and I have been there. We're just trying to help the fanatic out there. We're taking you through our process as well, and hopefully we can all see more and more people see reality instead of it's only this way. Oh, it's only that way. Opinion is now fact. No, it's not. Look up the Webster Dictionary of both words, and you'll see that they are not synonyms of one another. Vacation time on the other side. This is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play and Be On Air podcast networks.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
I feel like we've done a lot of help teaching to fans here tonight. I don't necessarily need to go into my rant. I was only going to talk about how like all the hate that the women's basketball players and like women's athletes getting, like Caitlin Clark, and like she didn't start out the season well enough, and people are like rooting for Indiana and her to fail. Like, why? Like she's one of the bright stars that's bringing more attention there. Guess what? There's also Cameron Brink in the rookie class, who's playing great for the LA Sparks. There is Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese in Chicago. Angel Reese is the first rookie in WNBA history to score in double figures in all 5 or 6 of her first games.
Nice. I'll give you a trivia question. Who's the only WNBA rookie to win MVP?
Diana Taurasi?
Nope.
Sue Bird?
Nope.
Who is it?
Candace Parker.
I mean, that makes sense. Credit to her. Like
when we had her brother, I wanted her.
Yes.
It's like I really did. I'm like,
Yes.
dude, she's the better shooter. I guarantee you she can hit
Yes.
some threes better than
What
her
a-
brother.
What a career she had. She retired this season. What a career she had. I mean, we just mentioned great players like Sue Bird, who had a great career. Diana Taurasi is setting her own records with the Liberty. Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu. Like, there's a lot of names. Like, just enjoy greatness when it's in front of you. Don't hate on it. Why do we gotta hate?
Who's your WNBA team?
Right now it's it was kind of the Liberty because I really like Stewart and Ionescu together.
Same. That's
Yeah.
why I'm a.
But I'm like,
oddly, it's a New York team. I'm like,
I know.
something.
But it's like something doesn't-
I have an inner turmoil with myself.
It's a
when I
New
say
York
it.
team that doesn't give you a New York feel
Yeah.
in a good way, you know?
Mhm.
But I do keep an eye on the Indiana Fever. I know that they've only won 1 game. Look, they were the top pick for a reason. It's not going to happen overnight. Like Caitlin Clark, as great as she is, it's a whole different ball game. She's learning that. Oh, she scored 30 points last night. Yeah, she can still play basketball, people. Can still play basketball.
Okay.
All
You
right.
got your ran in.
Yes, I did. I find a way. But vacation time.
So, Kevin, you just got back from the beach.
Yes.
And I just asked you guys, you want to talk about the beach and vacation?
You're
maybe
going to
the
Aruba
ocean.
here
Yeah, I'll be
soon.
going to Aruba, which has some of the world's greatest beaches ever.
Mm-hmm.
What are your favorite like beach activities? Like even if it's getting into the boat, off a boat, and going to
But
the
are you?
ocean. Or
Well,
something.
I guess first, like Peter, are you a beach person,
Um,
or do you just
I-
go because it's like a thing to do?
I used to be more of a beach person, but when I had kids, my kids didn't really like the sand. They had
Oh.
like some sensory issues with that, and
Mm.
so it's kind of challenging. But I mean, I live right by the lake, and I do like the beach. And my go-to thing on the beach is,
Mhm.
other than just hanging out, is I used to love jet skiing.
Oh my god, I love jet ski.
I used to have an wave runner.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
Did you have one or two?
I had one, but a bunch of my friends had them, so
So,
we
yeah,
would go.
Because they're boring as all hell when you don't have anyone around. you,
Right,
by the
right.
way.
We would actually go down to West Branch,
mhm.
because West Branch was very flat. Usually calm water. It get choppy because you get a lot of people with big boats at West Branch,
But when
because
you're on a wave runner, choppy
yeah.
can be
But
fun.
oh yeah, because there's unlimited horsepower at West Branch. 'Cause a lot of smaller lakes have horsepower limits,
Mhm.
and my wave runner was GP 1200. It had I think it was 135 horsepower,
Nice.
so within about 65 top
You would
speed
like
on the
this.
water.
When I used to live in the Florida Keys, me and my friend, I'd go on his jet ski or his
Mm.
wave runners.
Yeah.
We'd just island hop.
See, I would that would to me would be so awesome. My wife's not a big water person, so trying to get her to do that. When we were dating, actually, a buddy of mine, his aunt had a sailboat. He actually owns it now. Small, like 22, 24-foot sailboat. And we would go out on that. And my wife actually went out on it because we were dating, and she was trying to, impress me, I guess. And I think she white knuckled the whole time on the sailboat.
Yeah.
But we would take the sailboat out and the wave runner out on Lake Erie.
Nice.
And so we would basically just swap off, like hang out on the sailboat. Someone else would just go
Mhm.
cruise around on the wave runner for a bit. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, the yachts I used to see down the Keys, like they just have like
Oh.
these huge boats, and they just have like little cranes that hold 2 jet skis.
Mhm.
So when their friends want to go out there,
First time I went on one, one of my dad's friends had a house in Lighthouse Point in Florida, right on the intercoastal. So you
Nice.
walk out his back door. When we were there, he had a 38-foot Scarab boat and 2 wave runners, like docked on
So
the
you
little.
like when it comes to the beach, the water, you're more jet ski boat guy.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't done it in forever. It's just time and money and everything else. It just gets
you got one
crazy.
kid, he's gonna be getting a job soon.
Yeah. He can buy me a wave runner.
He's done with school.
Yeah.
Eventually they'll
Great
all be
time to
out
get
of
a
it.
job.
It's a
Yeah.
great time. Hey,
Well,
get a
he-
job so your dad can get a jet ski.
He's got like
and you can buy one too.
he's got like a month, and then he starts marching band. So
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that always starts.
Well, Kevin, you
gets
just
there
got
early.
back from the beach. What is your experience, and
Yeah.
what do you love to do at the beach?
See, I was never a beach person.
Mhm.
Like, because when I thought of beach, like laying down, sunbathing, all that kind of, just like relaxing there. Like, I'm someone that needs to be active. Someone, like, I would get in the water. I need to get in the water. Got to get in the pool. Got to get in whatever, the lake, the ocean, whatever water I'm by, or I got to be throwing something like a frisbee, a football. Got to be active. I found it very relaxing to at times just sit and relax. And we had as a family, we had a very nice balance. It was myself, my wife, my 1-year-old son, and my in-laws. We had a very nice balance of like get up, do stuff on the beach, come back, sit down, relax. Link's watching his shows and eating snacks, and we're just kind of sitting back and just taking in the beauty. Now, we were on Butler Beach. We were close to St. Augustine, Florida. If you are into history, like whatever it is, like the way I'm into history, like I like to learn history. I'm not like someone that retains all the information, but I love to learn and take in, experience history. If you're someone that retains a lot of history, knows a lot of history, learns or likes to experience it like I do, St. Augustine, Florida is a great place to go. The oldest city in America. So much to do, so much to take in, and like how life was when it was first settled versus today. So it was a really great place, and I became a beach person. But again, I like that balance of relax, take some deep breaths. Like we put our phones basically away. We just took
listen to the waves sometimes. It's
listen to
like
the
the
waves.
best thing, dude. Just even at night,
in.
sunsets and just the moon and it being dark, and there's just like that is so unbelievably relaxed. That's like one of my favorite things in the world is just listening to waves.
One of my favorite nights on vacation was like Cape Canaveral was still like way down the coast, and we're on the ocean side, the Atlantic Ocean side with St. Augustine, but it's so clear, and like the nights are so clear. There was a couple nights where they were sending satellites up for like an internet service that's going to be set up through satellites in space. We could see the launch from where we were.
Nice.
Like, and there are no lights on the beach, like just a perfect, but very calming with the waves. There was a couple like rough days with the wind and everything, but very calming. Even got a chance to go fishing. Like,
How was your fishing trip?
It was good. It was actually like, it was
your first time fishing.
Yes. First time really fishing. My father-in-law had kind of take me around the, just the bank of their lake, Piedmont Lake in Piedmont, Ohio, down in southeastern Ohio. Caught like some like the very little fish.
What did you catch?
My first catch was actually a flounder,
Nice.
pretty big flounder. I have the picture somewhere. I gotta find it, or maybe he hasn't even sent it to me. My father-in-law took it, so I don't know where it is. And then had some like black sea bass, like some sort of like red black sea bass that we picked up. He almost caught a redfish, which a redfish is like a really big fish. The guy that we went on with the charter boat that we had done, he was so great, but he wanted us to catch a big fish. We could have maybe stayed in some of the areas where we were catching more and more fish. The big fish really weren't biting where we were, or they weren't in the same areas that they normally are. When he's like, 4 days ago, I had a family like right out in the spot and they caught 3 big redfish and this big fish, this big. So like he was so about our experience. Like this is a guy that, he actually makes his own. He'll make you like a personalized fishing rod and stuff. Like he has a business for that. He's got the charter boat. Like he's retired now, but like this is what he does. Loves fishing. He's been doing it for a long time. I'm someone that has never done it. I'd only ever cast one that like it was very easy to cast. Like you just press a button and it casts it out there in the water. This is like a legit fishing pole that I'm using. Very attentive, very helpful. And I found what people find relaxing in it. Now I'm not as patient, so not catching stuff in certain stretches, not the best for me, but I absolutely loved going fishing. Probably later in the week, probably shouldn't have traumatized our kid, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, I would say like when it comes to the beach, I could snorkel for days. Like I absolutely love snorkeling. I
want to try that sometime.
Oh,
we didn't get a chance,
so
but
fun.
I would love to do that.
That's probably one of my favorite. Like beach volleyball, love beach volleyball a ton. Just swimming, like love going to the ocean, dude. I am a massive beach person. Like I crave the ocean when I don't see it for so long. I'm like, I need to get to the ocean. I cannot wait to go to Aruba. Like
this vacation really allowed me to reconnect.
You have to find a co-host because I will be coming on for about 15, maybe 2 segments from my house in Aruba. Yeah, Tiffany said I'm allowed to because I want to show off my background.
I mean, if I don't find a co-host, I'll just run it myself. You wanted me to do that tonight anyways.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
I probably could have talked for a whole hour and just bored people and not had as many viewers as we had. But I will say the best part about as the guys from the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast are in studio, they're about to record their podcast as well.
I need to get in a ring.
I'm sure some of the,
that's what I need to do right now.
I'm sure the forbidden door, as they say in professional wrestling, will be a topic of conversation. Kyle Cornell, one of the hosts, is looking at me like, I don't want to talk about that. But I'm
talking about that.
Like I said, the best part about this vacation is I was able to reconnect with water. Like, and in terms of being like getting in water, it's not that I haven't been in water very much, but I was a competitive swimmer until I was 14, and my dad was my coach, and I kind of left it, even though I probably could have been pretty good at it. And like I left it behind, and like, I mean, all of those times, I don't know why, but like it just made me disconnect from water. I was able to get in, I swam a few laps, played with my kid, like, and seen the smile on his face, seen the smile on my wife's face, like just as like a little tight-knit family doing that and having fun with it again was absolutely rejuvenating, refreshing, and I'm sure it'll be the same way for you.
Every time, anytime I see the ocean, I'm just happy. You mean you just put me in a pool? I'm happy.
The next time we truly bring up Disney, I'll tell the story about somewhat traumatizing Lincoln, but he won't actually remember it, so it's okay. But it was kind of a.
It's gonna be funny now. You're like your dad loves swimming, and you said you kind of veered away from it. I think you love Disney so much, you're gonna drive your son away from it.
No, we'll make sure we don't.
I'm just trying to I'm just trying to plant little things in your head.
No, Jana will do it the right way. I will try. I will.
Yeah, it's true.
I won't push it. Just like I'm not going to push soccer. Like we're going to try everything. And I think that's an important lesson for young people to know. Like, yeah, you might want to focus on one sport as you're growing up. Try different things. You never know what that passion is going to be. We found our passion here doing this, talking sports, being a part of sports. Not everybody has that same passion. And when I say don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game, that's also meaning don't let anyone ever tell you you can't go act. You can't be a lawyer. You can't be this. You can't be that. Don't let people tell you no. If you are passionate enough, you care enough about it, everyone is capable of achieving the goals that they set out in life and the things that they want to be a part of. And that's exactly why when we close the show, I always say, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all. 3,000 for Always Positive. Jay,
Don't
for
talk.
Peter Tell about it. For Peter Tell, I'm Kevin Arnold. Jay, remind the people what we always say at the end.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
And live life. As our great late friend Mike Allen always used to say, shout out to him. Special shout out to Jay Allen as well. Some of our great friends here in the business that unfortunately no longer with us, but their teachings, their phrases, what they brought to the world still lives on. And we try to bring that every time. Well, he always used to say, live life, all gas, no brakes. Go after what you want, and you are more than capable. We will see you next week right here on the Voice of Land, on the Big Play and Be On Air podcast networks.